while we are waiting for this to feed through and for the folks out there to let us know if the audio is working and all that kind of good stuff, I want to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com. That's right. That's where you go to sign up for our email list over there. Also, we've got, if you check the menu, there's Lola's deals. Lola has daily deals that she throws up out there to help all you guys. We can't put that up on most social media anymore. So go to hankstrange.com. You'll find all of that. We've got links to our merch, etc. Like, for example, you can find a link to our Ballistic Ink store there and other places. We've got the Hank Strange patches that we're selling. Those are all in the store. So go check that out. Thanks so much. We appreciate you guys for doing that. I think that we are coming through right now. Also, help us out. Smash the thumbs ups and share this if you can on social media, because I think that YouTube is still ghosting us here and folks are not getting notified. Like, if you rang the bell, you're not getting notified. I don't know what YouTube did to us, but you can help us out if you're watching this by sharing it, and I will drop the open right now.
This is crazy. I can.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. What'd you say?
I clicked on the closed caption. It's actively closed captioning everything you say, which is wild. That's so crazy. No wonder they know exactly what we're doing when we do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think they're ghosting us specifically because we talk about gun stuff live, and they've furloughed so many people. They're ghosting us so that I guess we don't reach a big audience, since there's no overlords, I guess, to watch us every night. So
yeah, that was the solution. It's just don't send out invites for that.
Yeah, so it's just really crazy. I know lots of people have been complaining to me about it, so I appreciate everyone doing that. All right, so let's get everything going here. We've got Scott from Sky Firearms joining us. We've got Babyface P. You guys know we got to do the jazz hands. Get the jazz hands going, Scott. There you go. We are live. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 533 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Yes, indeedy. And like I said just now, our special guest is Scott McGregor, Sky Firearms.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for coming back again, Scott. I think the last time I saw you was at SHOT Show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. And it gets so crazy at SHOT Show. I think we only saw each other for a second. I just showed you the new gun here real quick, and then then you were off, talking to other folks.
Yeah, it was really busy in the booth. You've got a new guy. What, I'm trying to remember what his name is now, but I know him. There's a guy that works with you guys now that I've known for a while in the industry.
Chris Davis.
Is it Chris?
Chris, he worked at some other companies, Glock and Hudson.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, Chris. Yes, exactly. Chris is how I got into the Glock T&E program, which is notoriously impossible to get into. And then Chris left, and I was okay. I was still in the program. Guns would get sent out. I would do videos by the guns. And then that person, there was someone who replaced Chris. They left. Now, no more Glock stuff for Hank Strange. Shut up once again, but And then he went to Hudson, and we all know what happened there.
I don't know what you mean. I love my Hudson.
Yeah, Babyface has
I love the Hudson. In fact, we had a couple of some of my distributor buddies, like Chris and I, have a deal going where there's one of the distributors that has a few left, and they're giving us a smoking deal on them. I think it'd be cool to have.
Yes. Well, so Babyface got a really good deal on a Hudson, and he was real proud of himself. I have not been able to. If you guys wind up getting a nice deal or something, hey, I might chip in and get one if there's any left. I know that's...
Well, he did. Chris is the one that put all the packaging together. He did all that, and he did a great job. And then, obviously through some other circumstances, it didn't work out. But they did everything first class as far as packaging and everything else. But, it's unfortunate the way that went. But we're very lucky to have Chris with us.
He's a good guy.
He's got a lot of industry experience. Yeah, for sure. We're really excited. So he's our director of marketing. And it's nice. We have a really strong team between Bo Hudson, our CEO. He's our COO and our VP of Sales and Marketing, and then Megan, who Lola knows, who works on our social media, and then myself in sales. It's even though we work remotely, we're rarely in one place at the same time. We have a very strong and cohesive team. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that Bo Hudson you mentioned, he's not from Hudson, is he?
Bo Hickman.
No. Oh, you said Hickman. Okay, I thought you said Hudson there for a sec.
No. Bo Hickman.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
I was just about to say.
But yes, he did for that too.
Yeah.
He did work too prior to all the issues.
Okay. Yeah, it was crazy when I was talking to Chris at your booth. He was telling me, because I remember when Hudson launched, and he was telling me about, and it was crazy days. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't have a Hudson."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?
So,
what?" Yeah.
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 But luckily, we're he's doing a great job for us. We're in a good spot. We're shipping a ton of guns. We're building a ton of guns. As long as we can keep the parts and pieces going, we're putting the guns out and shipping a whole bunch every day to distributors and to some buy group members and things. But
nice.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Babyface P here also joining us, doing double duty this week.
That's what I do.
You're gonna get a bonus, Babyface.
How many times 0 do I get?
I'm gonna give you 5 times 0.
5 times 0.
5 times. Awesome. You are welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. You know what? I'll get you a hat. Maybe
there you go.
I think I could hook you up with a Sky hat.
That sounds good with me.
I think so.
I don't think Have you shot the new striker fired gun yet?
No, that's one of the things we're going to talk about.
Okay, because that.
Yeah.
I want to see how that is, because Hank did a video and I got to shoot the hammer fired one, but I'm really curious how the striker goes.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I was at the factory maybe 2 weeks ago, and I put a couple hundred rounds through it, and we made one little change. We had them at SHOT Show to show them off, and we were expecting to ship a few weeks after that, and then we made one little change that really made a big difference. And rather than send it out and then make a change, we just wanted to make it squared away prior to shipping any of them. So this last time I was at the shop there in Daytona Beach, I put a couple hundred rounds, in one in one sitting there in our test range. I put a couple hundred rounds through it, and it's significantly different, and it shoots well. And I should have one this week to be able to take outside and try to see how far I can ring some steel with it. So
nice.
I'm excited. We're fired up about it. It's going to be well received, and the price point's going to be huge. We expect it to be somewhere around $300 for the striker gun, and then we'll make it available with the red dot as well that we've been using. So.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be two versions, right? Or 3 versions?
Yeah. No, 2. Well, the options on that one, basically, it's like a Model T. What frame color do you want? Sky's known for having the different frame colors in our CPX line. You can get the pink or the orange or the green or the purple blue or the flat darker. Well, in the DVG for a while, it's going to be like a Model T. You're going to as long as you like black, that's what you can. That's what you can have.
Right.
You can get stainless slide, but otherwise it's going to be black. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And this is it going to be? Doesn't have a safety, right?
No external safety at the moment. Good, if we get enough demand for it, we might put one on. But at the moment, it's going to be striker fired, no external safety, 10+1. 10 round magazines. It'll use the same 9mm magazines we've been using, and it'll have a 3-inch barrel. It's about 15 ounces, and the trigger pull is between 5 and 5.5 pounds. So, they shoot well at recoil. The recoil impulse is super manageable. I was very pleased with that. I'm kind of I'm a bigger guy, but I'm kind of recoil sensitive.
How is that? How is that the thing?
Well, here's the deal, right? And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of story time here. You got to bear with me.
Yeah, and you are a competitive shooter, also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I was down at Shootout Lane with Jerry Michalek one year. It was 2012.
Okay. That's a soft flex right there. Soft flex.
Like that?
Shooting
like
with
that?
Mitchell.
Yeah, that's it. But it's just the truth. And does it count? Is it okay if he's on your speed dial? Does that make it?
Oh!
Wow! Strong flex up in here.
I mean, like that.
Mitchell won't even talk to me in public. No, he's actually pretty nice.
I've been really fortunate to be around to really be introduced to a whole bunch of really great folks, and they've been extremely good to me. Including Jerry. But we were shooting at the house there, and he said, what ammo you shoot? And I said, well, it's 124 grain 9mm that somebody sent me to, for the trip. And he said, oh, it looks snappy, in typical Cajun, the Cajun way that he has. And I said, really? He said, yeah. He's like, here, shoot mine. I shot his, and I went, okay, I see. But ever since then, I've paid way more attention. At that point, it was just give me ammo. I just want to shoot ammo, and it didn't matter what it was. But now it's kind of like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I'm a 148 or 147 grain fan personally.
Yeah.
One, I shoot a lot of suppressors, but two, it's just loading my own 147s. It's just softer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I've seen some of the one of the things that I've been shooting for Hornady for, I don't know, quite a few years now, and they have that 135 grain.
How do you like it?
I really like it.
Nice.
I really
Okay.
like it. It's very comparable up there with that one, with any of the 147s and stuff for me, as far as soft shooting and comfortable and accurate. So
there was
anyway.
I don't know how you get there was at least 3 or 4 flexes.
So many.
In that story. By the way,
it's not intentional. It's just
cool.
Like I said, I've just been very lucky to be around a great circle of friends.
Yeah, you've been in the industry for a while. By the way, there's some guy in the chat. I don't know if he's trolling us. His name is Chris Davis. He says it shoots great. So there's some dude who shot the what is it? DVG1. DVG1. Yeah, and then he says Scott is just a sensitive guy all around. By the way, so that's Chris, right? And if anyone wants to see it, because we can't show guns on the podcast now, which is another crazy thing. So these guys can't show us the gun, unfortunately, because craziness, right? But you can probably go check out Sky on IG. I'll run that in. But Chris and I do have a video that we shot at SHOT Show 2020 where Chris was talking about the gun and all that kind of stuff. I think I made Chris break down the gun in the middle of the thing, and I was asking him all kinds of questions. That he wasn't ready for. He didn't. He wasn't ready for my investigative questions.
I think he'd been on for all of a couple weeks at that point, type of thing. He showed up to SHOT Show, it's like taking a drink from a fire hose.
Yeah, yeah. It was a crazy SHOT Show. Who knew that was going to be the last big show of the year?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, at the time. Yeah. See, Babyface, you should have
not.
You should have.
I did all right.
Made it out there somehow to SHOT Show.
Did all right not getting the SHOT Show mug.
Yeah. Let's see. So there was something else here. I'm trying to go back here. Someone was saying it. I think it was. I don't know if it was Vanessa Kitty. I'm trying to go back and see. But she was saying that gun channels aren't even showing up in her thing. So I don't know if it's just this or YouTube did whatever they did here to other channels. Whoever said that, hit me with that comment again, and and we'll. Lola, by the way, sent me the video. Hold on, let me roll this in here. Let me see if I can open this video from my the YouTube channel. So, what is when do you guys think this is going to be coming out? Can you talk about this yet? Exactly,
It'll probably be shipping towards the end of April. And we're looking forward to it. We'll get you one as soon as we have a production model to be able to send you. I know we've already talked about that in-house here, so that'll be good. I think you'll dig it. Like I said, I mean, it's hard to not be able to show it or not have had you guys, had your hands on one yet. But the recoil impulse was very manageable. It wasn't snappy. It was good. It felt good. It's a good size. It's not a micro. It's not like a little tiny skinny pistol or anything, but that said, I think more surface area in the grip and that type of thing makes it more shootable. It's more pleasant to actually go out and shoot.
Yeah.
Have you guys announced MSRP on it yet?
Yeah, it's I want to say it's like $339 or something MSRP,
wow.
but I mean,
somebody was asking. There was a comment in the chat saying, "Why a Sky when there's CZs and Glocks?" And my answer was price, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know the price offhand.
First of all, shame on Brian Quick for that. Was that Brian that asked that question?
I don't know who it was.
Before I shame him.
I don't think it was Brian Quick.
Oh.
I think it was
well, let's just address that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking that, right? I mean, when these guys asked me if I wanted, when our owner Joe Roebuck approached me at SHOT Show a year ago and asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team at Sky, I kind of went,
yeah.
Okay. I said, will you send me guns to shoot? He's like, oh, yeah, we'll send them to you. And I mean, I had them. By the time we all got home, I had them in a matter of days. And I went out and the very first weekend, I put 500 rounds through the 9mm, the CPX-2, and I put 700 rounds through the 380, just because that's all I had at the time. And it shot well. I mean, they were good. The 380 actually shoots really soft. It shoots really nice, like for people that are recoil sensitive. And plus, it's also got the, the slide, because you don't have to have that big heavy spring in there like a 9mm. It's very easy to manipulate and that type of thing. And it shot well. I didn't have any issues. The 9mm, same way. So think about this. We all have guns that we like. We all have some Glocks. We all have some SIGs. We all have those. If you've been around guns at any time in the last, while, or if you've been around a while, everybody has had these other guns. And I do. My very first pistol I bought was a Glock 19 from Gallinson's in Salt Lake here, in 92. It was used for $275, and I still have it.
What was it?
But
what was it again?
Glock 19.
Glock 19. A Gen 2 Glock 19 in 1992.
Oh, wow. Okay. For 200. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it was a smoking deal at the time, too. And then, but my point being, let's say, that not everybody can run out and pay, what you have to pay for a Glock or what you have to pay for a SIG right now, and the owner, Joe, said he just doesn't want anybody to be priced out of being able to protect themselves and be priced out of the Second Amendment,
Exactly.
So if you think about it, what if you had a single mom, with a restraining order? Is she going to probably be able to go pay $500 or $600, or can she, pay $200 for I think I've seen a much less than $200 for a CPX-2 and 9mm that. She's not a shooter. She's not going to go out and shoot matches. She's not going to go out and do that type of thing. She just needs something that'll go bang if necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that was Poe Izzy that asked that question. So the shame should go to Poe Izzy. But I'm going to go easy on him because
it's a valid question.
Yeah, his icon has a transformer in it, so I will go easy. So I'll forgive him. But then I also have to apologize now to Brian. So that's going to get complicated. But look, it's weird there's this, for example, right? We have the Glock 19. Why should any any company out there make any other freaking gun? Just stop making them.
Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of
why bother?
Remember years ago when your non-gun friends would be like, "Hey, I want to buy a gun. What should I get?" And that was the answer all the time. Period.
Yeah, but
now there's so many options out there, whether it's, it's like, you're going to have to go feel these, and, most places, ranges where you can actually go shoot them, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But, like I said, Sky has always been a value-based brand, and, Joe makes no bones about it, where, he doesn't mark it up like everybody else does.
It's always great to have options. Okay? Come on now.
Yeah.
I think there's so many cars I could tell you that are perfect cars. Honda S2000, perfect car. Like, everyone should just stop making cars, and all car companies should just make the Honda S2000. No, I don't think so. Some people can't, some people need a minivan.
I don't think I fit in an S2000.
I barely fit in there, but I still have fun.
Oh yeah, when you see them online, they go for a decent amount of money.
I am so missing I'm so missing a Honda S2000. I'm just telling you, it's such an easy car to drift and all that kind of stuff. You know,
Funny.
when my boys were little, I would just put the two of them in this passenger seat and just drift around on my property, and Lola would just be looking at us like, you guys are crazy. You know, and they're just like screaming and giggling, and we're drifting. But yeah, you know what? We need lots of different cars out there. We need different options and choices. There's price levels of what people want to do. There's comfort levels of what people want to not only spend, but features that they want on things. We were talking about this before we started. So the double action. I know some people don't like it when Babyface and I did that video. The last video we did on the Sky. That was the
CPX2 RD. It had the red dot on it.
The red dot, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We like the gun. I like your what is it? You guys have the quad lock?
Yeah. That's just, there's 4 points of contact in the barrel. Like when everything's locked up and it's ready to shoot, there's 2 points of contact under the muzzle, and then there's 2 points of contact back by the chamber. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it
just locks it in place the same every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like all of that stuff, but I would prefer, a better trigger. Not everyone's a fan of the double action, but some people don't like the striker fired pistols. They don't like the trigger on those. Some people like that long trigger pull. It's a lot like a revolver. So that it's just we need these options for everyone. When you go to
go ahead. Like you're saying with the vehicles and stuff. I was over the weekend last week. I was down in Phoenix. Like I'd gone down there before all this stuff got super crazy about locking everybody down. So I'd gone down to Phoenix, and I was with my friend. I don't know. You guys have me all worried to say who I was with because I'm not. Anyway.
No, you might as well drop it on us. You might as well drop it on us.
So I was down there I was at Randy Luth's house. Randy Luth is the founder of DPMS.
What?
Before Cerberus bought it, and then now he's the owner and founder of Luth AR that does the accessories, right?
Oh. Okay.
And so Randy has a Dodge Demon.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And he I probably turned him down 3 times. He's like, "Hey, want to drive the Demon? Hey, want to drive the Demon?" And I was kind of like, "No, I don't want to drive the Demon." And then finally he asked, and I kind of went, "Okay, I'll drive the Demon." And I took all my, you took your knife out of your pocket.
He had to ask you more than one time.
Yeah, dude, wow. That thing, I tell you what. But my point being, I drove that thing, and it was like grins the whole time. Like you can't help but smile in that thing when you put it in drag mode. Mm-hmm. But that said, that doesn't mean that that's for me. It means I can appreciate it, but I don't necessarily need it or can afford it or whatever, and if I could afford it, I'd probably have more of a truck anyway. But the point being, I mean, just because something's not for you doesn't mean you don't appreciate it,
Right, exactly. And people appreciate things in different ways. Hold on, I'm messing up the order and putting this in. People appreciate things in different ways. I know some people, I'm not going to mention who, that Babyface. His dad has the red eye. Did your dad get the red eye to 500 miles yet, Patrick?
Nope, not even close.
It's so awesome.
But he has it.
Yeah. It's really, it's a cool car, but some people just like to have,
He just wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably been his dream since he was like a little teenager or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of power when your dad was let's say 18, 19 years old, if someone would come in a time machine or a spaceship and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make a car from the factory that has 900 horsepower," I'm like, that's nonsense. Technology, we'll never get that kind of technology. So it's just everyone has different things for why they do what they do. Everyone enjoys different things in their guns, and this is the reason why we build different things. So.
Well, and you don't use a box end wrench to turn a Phillips screw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's everything has a purpose. Like my old 1970 pickup out here is for just driving around town and going to the dump and hauling stuff around. It's not, that's what it's for. It's utilitarian. And so the Sky, people are often surprised how good the fit and finish are and how well they run and everything else, because they mistake an inexpensive gun for being a cheap gun. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. So there's a difference. Reason to have it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason to have it. Like I said, it's not going to take the place of my, $3,500 Hayes custom pistol, that I shoot in 3-gun, but nobody claims it would.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally different market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now that said, the one that they did send me that I was telling you guys about, I've been carrying it ever since I got it. And I have a Tactical inside the waistband holster. And it's super comfy and it's super easy to carry, and you can wear it, where are you guys at? You're
Florida.
Yeah. Florida.
Yeah. So, I mean, summertime there, you don't want to be carrying some big old heavy thing, right? Makes you sweat.
Yeah. Depends on who you are. If you're one of those people that only wears shorts and flip-flops, no.
That's me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it gets that way, doesn't it? Summer.
No, he wears shorts and flip-flops in the wintertime.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It doesn't get that cold down here. Come on.
In the wintertime in Florida, did you just say that, Hank?
It gets down to like 40. It's fine.
Yeah, we're kind of like North Central. We get to freezing. So a couple days.
Like a week, like 1 week, a year?
No, for about an hour or two during when the sun is down.
About 3 o'clock in the morning one night.
I woke up to 3 inches of snow today, and I think I've got about 2 more weeks, and I'm going to start wearing shorts all the time again.
Yeah, it's March 25th or something like that.
I know.
We're not out of snow season yet?
Well, I thought we were, but apparently not.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask this here. I know there's a bunch of questions coming in, so I'm going to have to try to take some of those questions. So the CPX2 and all the other Sky pistols that are double action. So if the slide gets pushed a little bit out of battery, you can still use you can still pull the trigger, unlike like a Glock or something else like that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it depends on how far out of battery it is. Yeah.
But if it's slightly,
you can try. Yeah. It has a second strike capability. Like if you get if you don't light the primer off or something, you can squeeze that trigger again before you have to, clear it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the reason why,
I mean, it is a semi-auto, so you can't get it too far out of battery before it. Before it's not going to work.
Yeah. The reason why I ask, I know sometimes you hear those stories of like people that are really close up and they push the gun in on the person's body, but then it pushes it slightly out of battery. It doesn't work. Okay. So when you go to striker fired with the DVG-1, that goes away, right? That's not that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, no. I mean, it's like anything. If you push it out of battery, it's like any Glock or anything like that. If when you go out and do all the training, guys will show you, but. A lot of them, that's why people come up with the little standoff things and stuff like that. But if you push any semi-auto out of battery, chances are it's not going to fire. I would hope it doesn't, because then if it's out of battery, chances are the barrel started to drop a little bit and you've got some space in there, and you don't want that cartridge firing if it's not closed.
Yeah. Someone's asking if I'm getting a red eye. No. That's Applebite. I'm not getting.
So
when they go.
Me on this.
Go ahead.
What is the red eye? Which one is that?
It's just one step down from the Demon. They wanted the Demon to be like the ultimate, so they made it like 7 horsepower more powerful. But it's basically the same thing.
Well, you can't get Demons anymore. Demons are.
No, they only made 1 year for the Demon.
Yeah. So
the Hellcat Red Eye is like the regular factory Demon, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
I think that's the one they do the road courses or something with that one, maybe. I think then they do road course like training.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can get a Hellcat Red Eye and it has that same engine or close to power like Patrick is saying, but it's not technically the Demon, which is now like a collector's item.
Yeah.
Roger that. Okay, I get it.
So my thing with that is I would get one if it was all-wheel drive, which they don't.
Hank is all-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's got to be all-wheel drive. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Hank's all-wheel drive.
I'm that guy that doesn't really, the burnouts and everything. It's all good, but I would like to be able to use that power and do twisties at the same time.
Hank wants to thinks he's going to drive through snow and ice, and he wants to
I think he just wants to do the Hoonigan stuff.
Yeah, exactly, where he can whip around corners.
Yeah, the all-wheel drive is, first of all, if you
I'm not going to lie, that Hoonigan all-wheel drive 64 Mustang was pretty cool.
Yeah, all-wheel drive is great for launching. So I could just tell you that right now, like my 500 horsepower car, this all-wheel drive will beat a red eye. I'm just telling you, it's gonna beat it.
I don't believe it. Say what you want.
Because all that power is gonna go to the wheels instead of just it's like all the wheels instead of just spinning out the back wheels.
You might get the first little bit off, but it's gonna whoop. 800 horsepower is gonna whoop.
Eventually.
Hey, when I drove that Demon, we went to a shop to pick up one of Randy's other cars that was getting an oil change, and the guy from the shop, as guys at the shop will do, had a 1,000 horsepower Evo sitting there as well. It looked rough, but he's like, it
that's
goes.
Sexy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. The one thing that's scary about those is when they break, it's gonna be very expensive.
That's true. But you know how? But it's what? It's just like gun stuff. The longer you're in it, the more specific your tastes get. You know.
Yeah. I just like all-wheel drive. It's just I feel like more power goes to the wheels. It's better handling. Some guys now listen. I'm not gonna tell you the sound of the engine. A V8 like that, the sound of the engine just at idle or whatever, you're cruising. All that kind of stuff is super sexy, but I like to actually be able to drive all over the country and go in all kinds of. When I had the R8, I took that thing off road, all-wheel drive. That's if I would have.
That's why you had paint chips.
Well, yeah, those are beauty marks.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the more you get into it, the less you worry about the finish on your gun. It's like you guys come over the range and wipe it off. And I think all my stuff has been pretty high end stuff over the years, and the harder I use it, the better it looks to me.
I don't own any gun that doesn't have beauty marks on it.
Right, exactly. We get in trouble because when I do videos, I don't know if this happens to you, Patrick, with your videos on the range, but when I do videos on the range, we have these really super rusty barrels out there, and it just makes people really mad that we put the guns on the rusty barrels.
I never put it on the rusty barrel.
Oh, so okay.
I use the table.
Oh, see, I think the rusty barrel looks better.
It looks cool, but yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I don't like the rust. It just gets me.
What's it gonna do? Is it gonna it's gonna be like the virus? It'd be like
gonna scratch it,
like COVID, and it's gonna take over the gun.
Yeah, that's right.
People are so crazy, especially with these expensive guns with these great finishes. How do you know if this finish is any good?
Did you get complaints when you put the what was that 1911?
Oh, the one from Cabot.
Cabot, yeah. Did you get complaints when you put the Cabot on the rusty barrel?
Yes. Anything that goes on, it's like, how could you? How dare you? You savage.
I'm glad they don't see my stuff laying in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't believe in safe queens. No safe queens or garage queens. Right now I'm driving an electric car. I'm driving the e-tron, the Audi e-tron, because
got it again?
Because somehow there was a nail in my I have an Audi RS5, and there was a nail in the tire, so I got to replace that whole tire.
So, you have to replace the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing. You got to get a new one.
Was it? Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what it's going to cost yet because it's the back. It's the back tire. Huh?
Can you file a claim for that?
Well, I always get wheel coverage because
but they don't do tires.
No, they do. It covers the tires because one thing I drive a lot and I'm always destroying tires. So when I had the R8, one of those tires went out. I was driving around the country. We went from East Coast to West Coast and back. Actually did the circumference of the country, and one of those tires went out. Cost $650. But I had the tire coverage, so I paid like $50.
And that was worth it.
Yeah, hopefully on this car it's not super specialized like that. But either way, always get the tire coverage if you drive a lot like me. And you're like a magnet for nails and stuff like that. So. I'm always scratching up the rims and stuff. Lola's like, I don't know what you don't know how to park properly or something. So I don't know. I don't know if I treat, the only thing I treat nice is when I'm into Hot Wheels cars. This is a confession to everyone. I don't open them out of the packages. That's the only thing.
I have specific ones that are, that I like the model for some reason. I love the 68 to 72 Chevy pickups.
Okay.
I got two of them. I got a 70 3/4 ton I bought from a farmer here in town that my daughter drives, and then I've got both of my kids can drive a stick because of that thing, so it's good.
Okay.
And she drives it to high school. My boy, he's 14. He's been driving it for like 3 years, around the property here and stuff, around the neighborhood. But those are kind of my favorite. Anytime I see anything that has to do with those and Hot Wheels, I get them. Or sometimes one just catches your eye. I gotta admit, and for a buck, why not?
Yeah. See, Babyface, another Hot Wheels guy right there. Respect it.
Well, there's a difference between like having a thing, and Hank just buys every Hot Wheels. Whenever it can, and he'll buy like 5 of them at the same time.
Well, yes. Hey, that's memories right there. I mean, I'm of the era, before any of this other stuff. I mean, that was my thing, right? Hot Wheels and Army Men, and any kind of gun-ish type thing, that I could pull off as a kid, But
man, yeah.
And I love I was the kid that was like getting to be 8th grade, 9th grade, like almost into high school, not quite, but still loved Hot Wheels. And people are like, dude, you need to stop.
It's always embarrassing when you're a bigger dude too. People are like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. My embarrassing moments during this whole, COVID-19 thing is like going into, because you can get Hot Wheels in like Dollar Generals. So I go in there. And everyone's trying to get toilet paper and bleach or whatever nonsense that I already have. And then I come up to the thing with a bunch of Hot Wheels. They're like, seriously, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah,
absolutely.
There's no friggin' apocalypse going on for me. I'm business as usual.
Yeah.
Hey, so along those lines, how many friends have you guys had call and give you the, hey, I've had one call say, hey, you want to go to the range? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll take you to the range, but I've been telling you that for like 3 years. Why now?
Surprisingly, I haven't had too many, but I think there are people that I know that typically wouldn't consider having a firearm that are now like, I really need a gun.
Mm-hmm. I've had a couple I had one guy call me today that he's been talking about getting an AR for like 3 years. And he called me from our local, one of the local sporting goods stores. And he was like, hey, what about this Daniel Defense Mark 12? Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's
good. Hold on, you'll get it, and it'll work for everything you want to do, and you'll stop asking me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is interesting right now. So that's why, like yesterday, we were talking about this. We were like, okay, and I took a snippet out of yesterday's podcast, and it's on the YouTube/Hank Strange, and it's so you're a new gun guy. Now what? Like, what do you need to know now that you're a gun guy? And I think it's true. Like, I've found that lots of people, when I went to the dealership today to deal with that flat tire, every single person in there was asking me something about a gun because they know I'm a gun guy. So everyone, because I think, like, this thing just has people that everyone's wondering. I think do you guys think we're 100%? I think we're at least like 90% of people in America right now are gun people.
At this point, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was speaking with one of my friends in California today, and he was saying that same thing. People there are sideways, like new gun owners are going into a shop, and they're like, what do you mean I have to wait 10 days to pick this up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is what you voted for.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've all seen the memes or the videos and stuff, and it's absolutely true. What do you mean I have to take a test? This is dumb. It's like, really? You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm sure they're thinking, hey, I thought there was just a gun show loophole.
You just order it. It's just you order it. It comes right to your house.
And then the other thing is down there, you got to do a background check on every time you buy ammo now.
Yeah,
that's so ridiculous.
It is nuts.
I hope people.
I mean, having grown up in San Diego, it's to me, once they started registering receivers, I was like, yeah, and I'm sending all of that to Utah. So I put it in my in-laws' basement, but. I still had a Mini 14. I still had my Glock, so they just don't get it.
Yeah. Hopefully, the people in all these states, not just California, New York, a lot of other states, I hope you guys, really become gun guys after this,
there are a lot of people that are like, haha, I told you so, whatever, like laughing at them, but I'm like, welcome to the fold. Now start voting the correct way.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Learn about the Second Amendment.
Learn about it. There's a reason we have it.
And
absolutely.
Really look into this. I mean, I was texting with my sister. Most of my family is in New York, and it's pretty bad. Like, New York is the epicenter, right? New York City, and they're all in Brooklyn. I think right now a lot of people out there thinking, "Oh crap," And I was telling her, I was like, "Listen, because she's like, yeah, we're just gonna shelter in place. Everything's gonna be fine," which I think it will be fine, and I hope it's gonna be fine. But if something goes wrong in the world and you live in a city, your problems just went up like at least tenfold.
Well, I look at the difference here where I live, which is a relatively rural community in northern Utah near Park City. And then I look at when I drove down to Phoenix, I went through some small communities. The small communities were calm. The stores had stuff on the shelves. They're not big stores anyway, so there wasn't a ton of stuff on the shelves, but you could go in there and kind of pick and choose, and they were out of toilet paper, but I mean, they had ramen noodles, and they had soup, and they had meat in the cooler, they had all the stuff. But then I got down to Phoenix and went into one of theirs near Scottsdale, into one like a Fry's grocery store, which is like a Kroger or something, and people were more aggressive. There was way less stuff. There was nothing on the shelves. I mean, I picked up asparagus, 2 pre-prepared pizzas, like, throw them in the oven pizzas. And I just happened to be there when they set out 2 rotisserie chickens. And so it was like, done. I got it.
It's kind of crazy. My parents live in Tampa, which is a big city, in the middle of big city. And I just went to Walmart before the call to get some groceries and whatnot. And the only thing that's kind of weird is they are only allowing so many people in at a time. They have like a cap of how many people can be in the store. But beyond that, there was plenty of everything. There wasn't, and we kind of live on the rural side of Gainesville. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is really nice.
Yeah. But, I think rural folks are a little more inclined to be prepared for things. I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, but in general, people seem to be more self-sufficient. Like where I live, I mean, we'll get 2 feet of snow and we don't have a snow day. Everybody's got vehicles that handle the snow because guess what? You live where it snows. So
you tend to be more self-reliant. You buy more things. Like if you live in the city, when I lived in New York City, I mean, come on, that's why bodegas are so popular in New York City. You buy something when you need it. Oh, I need a sandwich.
It's almost like a daily shopping trip,
right?
Right?
Exactly.
And it's cool. Like, I don't mind that. It's kind of a fun thing to do. You're like, oh, today I think I'm going to get this. And you don't have to buy huge portions and everything else. But, it's not so good for this time.
Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse depending on the situation that's going on. Being in a city right now where everyone's so tightly packed in, I think someone just said like 200 NYPD obviously police officers tested positive for the virus.
I don't understand the love for the New York City lifestyle. Like it doesn't click in my brain. Like, why would I want to live on top of and next to people? It just that I want, like, my dream is 5 to 10 acres out where my neighbors are like way down the street. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, having grown up like that and lived in New York City and grown up there, every time I go back to New York City, I can't wait to get out of there. I guess some people that love that. Some people love that, though, like we were talking about before. There's just some people that they just love that life, even though it's so much more expensive. It's so much more expensive for you to live. You can't really have a car. But when I lived there, I had a car, but it's very expensive to have a car there. It's some people love that though. They like having a little tiny ass apartment. I remember
when I first started going there. When I was a kid, my family was in horse racing, and there's a lot of big tracks there and stuff.
Aqueduct.
And we're going. What's that? Yeah,
Aqueduct
and then
racetrack.
like Meadowlands and Roosevelt Raceway, and like all the places that are close by. and we would go into the city and we'd go to plays and we'd do fun stuff and we'd go out to eat and Russian tea room and all that stuff. And it was cool, but it was like a novelty, I'd have a hard time being there on a regular basis. I got a cousin that she works in one of the restaurants there, and she loves the culture. She loves being there. She loves the high speed of the the restaurants and the restaurant businesses and things like that. I mean, they're shut down right now, but I mean, lifestyle wise, it's just a different animal, But yeah, I'm with you guys. It's not for me. It's like me going to San Diego. I'm good for about 3 or 4 days, and then I got to get out.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to San Francisco a couple times for work, and I'm just like, there's a homeless dude with his hand in his pants staring at me on the subway. I'm ready to fucking get out of here. Like, this sucks.
But that's because you're cute.
Well, I think a lot of times, people are starting to figure out that, it's like the kind of the glib saying that we've had as gun owners for a long time is that, when seconds count, police are only minutes away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you gotta take some responsibility for your own well-being for you and your family, and I'm not saying you got to be like Rambo and go out and do that, but I mean, do you want to show up somewhere and not be prepared if something happens? I mean, the Supreme Court has ruled that police are not obligated to protect individual citizens.
Yep. People don't realize that.
No. Call the police. Well, even all my cop buddies, I support them 100%, and they even say the same thing. I mean, look at all the chiefs of police that have come out and said, get a gun and learn how to use it, because we can't get there.
Yeah. By the way, Bruce Ludman says he lives near Buffalo, Niagara Falls. There you go. Niagara Falls. You know what the funny thing is, I think? Nowadays people don't really look at the news. So it's weird. People do not look at the news, therefore they don't know stuff like cops are not obligated to save you.
Really? That was when? Like 2005 that they ruled there. I mean, that was the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but people do not look at the news. I'm telling you, I'm talking to people right now here in Gainesville where we have all this stuff going on. There's people who I'm talking to and I'm telling them stuff, and they're like, really? What are you talking about? I'm like, do you even watch any of these press conferences? Do you go read a blog?
Is that I feel like that's not a bad thing as well, though. It's like, there are people that watch the news too much. One of my coworkers was about to have like an anxiety attack the other day, and I was like, bro, calm down. Like, the world's not ending. The news wants you to think that the world's ending. The world's not ending.
No, it isn't.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow and it's gonna be just the same.
Some of us might not be here.
We've survived so many extinction events. It's not ending tomorrow. Don't worry about it. But I was like, stop watching the news. You need to cut the news out for a couple days.
That's like during the political times. It's hard to look at Facebook for me.
Oh God, I'm over it. Yeah, people saying dumb shit constantly.
Yeah.
I think there has to be,
or everybody's butt hurt, everybody's emotional.
Oh yeah.
I think there has to be a balance, right? So yes, don't freak yourself out and be all up on MSNBC or whatever other craziness and just driving yourself nuts, for sure. But especially when things are going on, how about having a weather air out there and just like, let me see what's going on, at least in where I live.
I hate to be that guy, but the other thing for me is, like, market right now is down for. For me, that means it's the time to buy. Like, I just spent $50 on. I've never got to. I spent $50 and I'm out a little bit. I'm like,
yeah. Your audio's going in and out. You might have to unplug it and plug it back in.
Oh well.
Yeah. The market was down, but it bounced back a lot already.
Made some money already.
Yeah.
And I've never bought into the market before.
Yeah. Everything should be balanced. So I think people should, when there's something going on, please be aware of the news. Please know what's happening. At least. This is
I don't know. Facebook is not necessarily a credible news source all the time.
No. But you don't have to go to Facebook. There's lots of places that you can get the direct news of what's going on in your area that you live in. You can figure out, this is what's happening here. This is what the policies are where I live and all that kind of stuff. So at least know that. You don't have to be I get it. No one wants to be super stressed out with the news, but at the same time, you don't want to be that guy who's walking around and like, why is everyone buying all the toilet paper? Oh, you didn't hear about the coronavirus? No, what the hell is that? You don't want to be that guy. Well, maybe they say ignorance is bliss, so I don't know.
Wasn't there some Hollywood dude that was like on some TV show or something and sequestered for 2 weeks and then came back to all this? Like when he left, it was
oh really?
Things were normal, and when he came back, like everything was shut down.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh my God, what's going on with the world?
Yeah, we're living in a different world. Yeah.
Back to The Walking Dead.
Yeah. It's listen, just be aware of it. I think that the news is going to sensationalize things and make everything crazy, but people should just be aware of it. Can you tell us, while we have you here, what's going on with Sky? Like how is this stuff affecting you all, Scott?
It definitely affects us. Our guns sell very well. Like we said, there's a tool for every job, and so in the low price, like entry level firearms market, there's a few different options out there, and we're just above probably the lowest option at the moment, but everything's very well made. They sell very well. People like the options that we do have, even with that double action trigger. There's over 1 million CPX pistols out there. There's a ton of guns out there, right? So I know it's the trigger, people might, it might not be for everybody all the time, but I tell you what, there's enough people out there that think it's worth having that, we've sold over 1 million of them. And we just keep making them. We have, there's a certain back order. Everybody is on kind of a lean manufacturing situation, so there's never really a bunch of inventory just because it doesn't make sense financially and things like that. But, we've had a bit of a back order, and at one point we were about 2 months back ordered, or we were maybe 3 months back ordered, and we whittled it down to 2 months. We were working on it. We put out a ton of guns every day and, a bunch every month. And in the last 2 weeks, our back order has increased by about 40%. Okay. So obviously guns are selling everywhere. So people are ordering the guns and ordering Sky pistols, and so we're making guns as fast as we can. It's a big challenge in-house to make sure we got all the parts and pieces. Everything's American made. We don't have any imported or any metal injection molded parts or anything like that. So obviously there's always a challenge to keep the parts and pieces coming in a timely fashion to where we can assemble. We have a great team that assembles the guns, and they're good at it. And man, they can put out a ton of guns every day, and we can get them shipped and that type of thing, to distributors and dealers and things. And so, everybody's just really busting their hump to make it happen. And it's going well. We're putting out a lot of stuff. I think today we put out 700, and we've kind of been averaging that lately, type of thing.
Okay.
So
you guys don't you guys don't sell direct, right? You're a distribution only model, or
we do distribution. We actually work through buy groups as well. So if there's a dealer who is a member of a buy group, they can purchase the guns at the shows and that type of thing. So. But we don't generally, we don't sell to every dealer. It's just the members of the buy group. So
okay.
And then through distribution, all the major distributors carry our stuff, and they have for quite a while.
Okay, and then you just have one manufacturing facility in Florida.
We have the one in Florida, and we have a facility that has some machines in Maryville, Tennessee.
Okay.
So yeah,
everywhere is open and up and running.
Up and rolling, and we're working on how to be more efficient or how to improve our efficiency. Like you remember a few years back when I think it was 2013 or so, when ammo went crazy and all the 22 disappeared and stuff like that, and everybody was saying, you need to. They were telling the ammo manufacturers, you need to build a new facility, you need to make more stuff, and it was like, no, because then what happens once you catch up, And it's like it happened, it caught up eventually, and then it came back to, it wasn't the same price it was in the past, but I think the other day I saw where you could order, some 22, and it was, almost 5 cents a round. I mean, that's up from 3 cents a round, prior to. But the point being, you don't build a whole new facility and put all that capital into it, and then what happens? Then the market dies off, and you're you have all this capacity and there's no market for it. So we're working on little efficiencies and how to make parts better and more efficiently, and run times on doing cut and slides and receiver blocks and all that type of thing as well. So
yeah, that's how a lot of companies went out of business, right, in the last couple of years.
Well, look at all the AR companies that popped up,
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Filling a niche in the panic market during the Obama times, and then it all dried up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and then go ahead.
I was just gonna say the AR market is just a race to the bottom. It's the cheapest price possible, which is now being won by PSA. So it's like, do you really want to get in on that market? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't. So it seems as though the middle to higher end, kind of the boutique brands and things, are still selling, some stuff and coming out with some quality product and things like that. But I think well, for example, I was down at that match and I was shooting some of the guns like POF makes and things like that they're not the low end and they're not the highest end. They're solid, intermediate to high, and the quality is huge. As long as you have companies like that, I think they're going to continue to sell some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were so many companies from that 2013 Firearmageddon, there were people who had just started up, probably did a little bit well, then went out and got big, massive loans, built up factories, and got machinery and everything. And then they had the Hillary Clinton plan, thinking that these last 3 years here, they would just be building all the ARs in the world and selling them. And that didn't really work out. And there is what's happening right now, that the market all of a sudden just really kicked up again, and everyone's buying guns in America. But these kind of things are anomalies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You can't count on it. It's kind of like you hit these big rushes, and then where everybody wants guns and sales are huge and stock prices go through the roof, and Smith is up and Ruger is up and everything else, and people can't make enough guns or find enough parts or find enough lower parts kits or anything like that. And then you get these guys that come in from other businesses who are just financial business guys, and they come in and they're not aware that over the years there's always cycles. I mean, I've only been in the industry since 2004, but there was one in 2008. There was one in 2012 coming into the election. There was one in 2013. There was one, so it always goes up and down. Mm-hmm. And so the people that are around and have seen these patterns in the past realize that it's not sustainable. And yet these guys, these number crunchers and these business guys, think it is, and it's just not. I think we had just sort of found our new normal, and then this happens again, and it's it's expected. But there's going to be people that'll jump on the bandwagon and try to exploit the purchasing that the way it's going right now. And I mean, it's to be expected, right? Mm-hmm. But they're going to think it's the normal thing, and it's just not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And unfortunately, really, you got to trust me on this. I don't want this, but I think what's going to happen is that this crisis is going to go away, in whatever time period it's going to go away. And then this kind of thing, this particular thing will become normal, right? Because we'll be dealing with it for a while. But when this goes away, in a very short time space, everyone's going to go right back. And a lot of these people buying these guns now, all of a sudden will become anti-gun again. And, it's going to be all this nonsense going on. And people are going to forget that when they were worried about what was going to happen in the world, and they realized that they would have to defend themselves. And even the anti-gun, super liberal politicians were telling them, yeah, you're going to be on your own, but they're going to forget all that and go right back.
Yeah. Yeah, the sheep. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it's true. And you're going to have guys, like, if it continues the way it is, people are going to start cranking up the pricing on the ARs just because the scarcity is going to go up. Or not just ARs, but anything, right?
It's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm. It's typical, right? It's what happens. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember after the last time, there was all the guys that were trying to sell their $2,500 DPMS Oracle.
That isn't worth that much.
For $2,500, So
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like you said, supply and demand, and in a crisis situation, you're gonna pay more. And I tell my friends, I still have friends that back then I have friends that were like, "Hey man, you got an AR you want to sell?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no." Nope. You got any ammo? Nope. I said, "Where have you been for the last like 3 years? I told you, prices have been as low as they've ever been, and you haven't done anything about it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think because of what Patrick said earlier, we're not really going to see $3,000 ARs unless it's like some of those super high-end niche companies, right, that are making very specialized things for competitive shooters and whatever out there.
But they're expensive. They're more expensive anyway, and that's okay. Yeah. That's to be expected.
But we're seeing like you can get a really nice AR for $1,000 or less now. I mean, we were just looking at the Grunt, from Leadstar, which belongs to PSA. That's a really nice gun, $750.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a competition level rifle, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there that are very reasonable with really great features at this point. I think you had to be competitive. I remember I worked for one of the bigger AR, well, it wasn't an AR company, but bigger firearms company that shall remain nameless on this one. But they made some models that were very practical models. You could use them for a lot of things, like like an 18-inch rifle gas, collapsible stock, flat top, with the brake or whatever, and they were very usable. But man, they were like double the price of everyone else's. And it's like, no wonder, unless somebody just wants the name, people don't realize that a lot of that stuff comes from the same place everybody else's stuff comes from. Mm-hmm. But unless you just want the name, you'll pay the money for it. There's other companies that have sold the same thing for about half the price and are selling the crud out of them.
Yeah. I think a long time ago you could probably get away with the name thing, and in some quarters right now there are people who are very name sensitive. Like I know there is that gun guy who everything he owns is FN. There is that gun guy. I've seen him.
What?
Yeah, there's that guy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
There is that guy. I don't know if you're that guy, Scott, or not, but
no, I'm definitely not that guy.
I've been to the range with that guy.
Might be other guys.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
I've been to the range with that guy. There's a guy that I know here in Gainesville, and I'm not knocking it at all. He's all FN. Bag is FN. Yeah. Rifles are FN. Handguns FN. Ammo is FN. If FN doesn't make it, it does not exist. So there's people like that, Yeah, I get it. I understand that, It's like some people only like Nike shoes or whatever, whatever it is, or they gotta have Air Jordans or whatever. But that's just exists. But I think most of us realize now, like, hey, this AR thing, you can get all these features or treatments and things like that, and it doesn't have to be ridiculously expensive. And then
I remember when I bought my first AR, it was a Colt Sporter lightweight, and it was in 1992. I was, that was my first rifle. I'd actually gone to it was B&B Guns in Huntington Beach, California, and it was the week after the LA riots. Like I'd planned on going the week of the riots. Just that's the weekend I'd planned. I was up in Santa Barbara, and I was going to come down and I was going to buy this. I had actually a Mini 14 that I wanted to buy, and I got in there and I looked at the Mini 14, which I do have one anyway. I still like that. It's for what it is, no problem, right? But I picked up that there was a Colt Sporter lightweight sitting there, and this was the era where they pulled the bayonet lug, but they hadn't pulled the flash hider yet. Mm-hmm. And it was a fixed A2 stock, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that, So I bought that instead. Mm-hmm. But then there wasn't a lot of, there was like Olympic and there was Colt. I'm not sure who else there was.
Bushmaster. Yeah, what was the guys back then?
Babyface. 92, maybe. I don't remember if they were around in 92.
Bushmaster?
But,
really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know Colt is the big one. Like, back in the days, you were ghetto if you had any other AR than a Colt.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's cool and all. And I actually, I actually shot for them for a few years ago, and they had they were making some cool stuff, and but they, it is what it is. They've kind of, they have the things they're focusing on as a business and everything else. But now there's so many quality options. I mean, I think the first non-Colt AR-15 I had was actually a DPMS back when my buddy Randy owned it. Like it was a small company that was killing it at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where a bigger one wanted to buy them, and they were doing great. But anyway,
how can you be a company so like Colt in Connecticut, but people can't buy an AR in Connecticut?
That's always crazy to me.
Yeah, where are we going with that thing? Now, how's that happening?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things going on there in that in that area type of thing. But well, it's like kind of like Smith. You go to Smith in Springfield, Mass. And if you buy an M&P in Springfield, Massachusetts, where Smith & Wesson is, you have to have like a 10-pound trigger in it.
That's the crazy.
It's it just makes no sense, right? But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. By the way, shout out to Clovertac. I see him out there. Please smash the thumbs ups. If I didn't say this before, the show is brought to us by Harry's Holsters, makers of fine Kydex holsters that I use, Babyface uses. I know they're working on with Sky to have some holsters available when Sky for the new stuff that's coming out from Sky as well. So here's the thing. I want to go back to the Mini 14 that you were talking about, right? Because I know Babyface.
Sure.
I've never had a Mini 14. Babyface, you're up in this now, right? You're in the game.
I had a Mini 14. I sold it and regret selling it, but I needed the money at the time. My wife went to nursing school, and we need a little bit of money, so you do what you got to do. But I'm actually picking up an older Mini 30 this weekend that I'm really excited about. I love the Minis. I think they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, people complain, they talk about pie plate accuracy and stuff like that, but like, Nate K is not a total tack driver either, and yet I still like those too.
I've never been a marksman shooter. I'm always been a minute a man is perfect for me. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If I can shoot that, I'm confident in my shooting ability. I don't need to have sub MOA from every gun I own.
Well, they're a solid gun. I mean, I think anybody that's been around for a while has looked at them or had one or anything. But I tell you, I got mine. I think it was about 1993 or 94. I was in college, and one of the local shops had one for $300, and it's just a standard. It's not a ranch model. It's just a standard Mini 14 with a wood stock, and I bought it for $299. And that's hard to beat. I still have it to this day. I got like four mags with it, and I would throw it in a backpack any day. If I had to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm. There's something about that grand action that I just love. It's just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
funny. Yeah,
are they scarce nowadays, or are they?
Okay. They've gotten a little expensive.
Oh, okay.
Well, but they, Ruger also retooled, and they're actually, I think, kind of a little tighter and things like that than they were in the past. But there's a lot of options still with those rifles. So they're viable. They're a cool thing. The coolest thing I think I've seen with it lately is Samson Manufacturing up in Keene, New Hampshire, came up with the folding stock. The old Ruger factory folding stock, like on the 18.
It's funny you bring that up. I got my phone call today that mine is shipping out on Friday.
Oh,
I did the pre-order. I did the pre-order back the day they announced it at SHOT Show, and it's just now shipping out.
Oh man! See, I mean, here's the deal. Like I've stayed at the Sampsons house. They're wonderful people. They're great people. They're guys that work there are awesome guys.
Did you notice that flex right there?
Yeah. That was a good one. Well,
I got a flex. I got a folding stock on the way. That's a pretty damn good flex. Okay?
Yeah, Scott. You got Scott there.
Like I got nothing coming. I don't have that. I'd love one. Mm-hmm. I'd love one. I mean, I guess that was my point. Is how do you rate? That's awesome.
Yeah. No, Babyface is just what is it, Patrick? Timing. Just good timing.
What do you mean?
No, in terms of with the stock situation. Yeah.
Just happened to.
Yeah.
I'll come down. I just happened to get I've been waiting since the middle of January, whenever SHOT Show was.
Yeah.
And then the guy called me today, and I thought it was. So I work for a Google company. I got an out-of-state phone call, and I was like, "Oh, there's probably a Google rep. I don't want to talk to them. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing." And then I checked the voicemail. It's like, "Hey, this is so and so from Samson. We need to get a hold of you because your thing is ready to ship." And I was like, "Oh God, I gotta call you back right now."
See, now you're stuck. Now you got to go find. Now you have to go find a Mini 14.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So wait, you don't have it. Well, yeah, you don't have it. What are you going to put it on?
I buying a mini this week.
Oh, okay. So you're going to put it on there. Yeah.
I would like to.
Your audio went out, Patrick. Sorry.
I'd like to get another mini 14, but mini 30.
Yeah. No, your audio's still out. What happened to your? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your plug over there. Maybe in the computer it's not. That's where it's. You got to plug it back in the computer. So, okay.
So have you got 7.62 by 39 ammo?
Oh, I got lots. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Little
Tons
bit, yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
6.2.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got lots of 7.62. He's not.
Good.
He's not going without that. Yeah. He's an AK dude. What's if you had to choose, Patrick, are you grabbing the AK or the AR?
AK, but not the 7.62 AK.
The crank? You getting the crank?
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You're not leaving that behind, huh? Yeah.
Do you have? Is that a 5.45? What is it?
Yeah, it's a 5.45 Krinkov. I built it from a Russian parts kit.
Oh, cool.
It's a 8.5-inch SPR. It's the best gun I've ever. It's my favorite. 100%.
Yeah.
I had some buddies out here, MOD outfitters, a couple years ago, rebuilt my Polish Tantal and put a triangle folder on it, and did it, and did the 5.45. It's
speaking my language. I love the fold. Oh.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
You had him at Polish Tantal.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, they got rid of that little skinny wire stock and put the triangle folder on it, and man, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's he has that crank just for the apocalypse. There's no way Patrick is leaving. When all hell is breaking loose, he's getting that crank. He's probably gonna get. So Hank, he's probably gonna get his dog, the crank, and then the wife. Huh?
So let's say it happens. What are you grabbing?
What am I grabbing? I have an integrally suppressed 300 blackout. That's pretty much my baby. I have one that I bought from Daniel Defense that I dropped a lot of money on that I should have probably never done, but I have it. Yeah. And then the other one that I have, basically it's we built that one up, but so Liberty Suppressors makes they make a integrally suppressed upper that's made out of titanium. It's called the Leonidas. So you can buy the upper from them, or there's a B option that they have where you can send your upper to them and then they build a lightweight upper for you. So I built this gun from the Kaiser US polymer upper and lower. I don't know if you've shot any polymer uppers and lowers, but Kaiser US has a pretty good one. So I built it out of that, and I sent the upper to Liberty, and they put that all together, sent it back to me. We completed the gun. It's pretty lightweight, 300 blackout, I think it's pretty nice, and that's probably my favorite one right there. So
the Kaiser, are they the ones that had it kind of has kind of a waffly pattern on it on the receiver?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's reinforced and all that. It's like a thicker polymer. I know there's a couple different. The Kaiser US thing tends to be more expensive, but I think it's a better grade than some of the other polymer upper lower stuff that's out there.
I think they were partnered up with Robar for a while, so it has to be quality. I mean, those guys, Robar always put out some really good stuff.
Yeah, they were. I know there's lots of different, there's all kinds of things that happened. Lawsuits got flying, things went around, in the whole industry over that whole upper lower thing. But I think a lot of that's been sorted out.
Yeah.
Sorted out. I guess there were patents on the polymer, and then doing the inserts and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people, I don't know how many people have actually moved over to polymer upper lowers. Probably not. Everyone's just most people probably feel like they want to do it.
It seems like it's kind of a niche thing, and I don't know. It's hard to turn down. When you got Palmetto selling a lower receiver for $50, it's kind of hard to pass those up. And I mean, as long as they're in spec, they're gonna be as good as most others anyway, I think, unless you go to billet. So
yeah, another hot thing, which I don't know where that's going, was magnesium. Remember magnesium upper lowers?
Yeah, I remember those. My one friend was shooting a lot of those. He had a 12-inch heavy barrel with magnesium, upper lower, and it was pretty crazy. It worked really well.
Yeah. How come that didn't catch on?
I don't know. I think something happened with the company, didn't it?
There was only one company making them, right?
Yeah, just that mag company. I think it was like
those
mag
guys
something.
went out of business. I know Fostech actually bought that, I think. But
there, you just answered your own question.
Yeah, but I don't remember Fostech like fully putting it out. I know Walter has one.
Because you just answered your own question.
Yeah.
You got a bespoke shotgun company that doesn't make ARs, not making ARs.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see whether or not whether that ever becomes a thing in the future. The magnesium.
What was it? Mag Tactical, right?
I think it was Mag. Yeah, I think it was Mag Tactical. I think Fostech took that over, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
I remember at the time when I first saw those, it was Daniel Horner was shooting it in that 3-gun Pro Series when he was with the AMU, and he shot this thing, and it was like a 12-inch gun, but it was like a 1-inch barrel. It was a huge, thick, stiff barrel, and on this really lightweight stuff. And man, he could, as expected, he could run that thing.
Yeah. I don't know if everyone is still so you're still doing competition, right? Competition shooting.
Yeah. Well, I was just at one weekend before last. Last weekend. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way you expect, and I actually ended up coming home a little early. Launched a shotgun shell when I wasn't intending to into the berm, and they don't look at that kindly. But it was
they kick you out.
Yeah, it was a Superstition Mountain 3-gun match down in Phoenix and Rio Salado there in Mesa, Arizona, and I've been shooting that match for as long as I can, remember being around the industry or shooting, and it was really great. It was funny. Everybody was being real careful, social distancing and not, giving the big bro hugs and all that kind of stuff. And it was fine. But, I was having a ton of fun, and sometimes this stuff just happens. And, I may not be as tuned up as I was a few years ago, with work and everything else going on. But, I ended up clearing a malfunction on a cheap shotgun shell in my shotgun and launched one into the berm, and when I hadn't intended to, and the guy knew that, and so he stopped me, and I got to come home early. But no, it wasn't anybody's fault but my own. But I was kind of bummed out because I was having a ton of fun. My rifle was super tuned up. I was shooting one of those POF Revolution DI guns, and nice. Yeah, man, I don't know. I get fired up. I love doing that.
Yeah, POF is still. Those are. I don't know what's the highest end AR out there, but POF is up there. They make good quality stuff, though.
I tell you what, after seeing their processes and what they do and everything they put into those guns, I mean, every part they manufacture themselves has a time date, has a date like etched into it, machined into it. And then they log every process in the assembly. Like Frank came up with a program that, I mean, they log all along the way. So the gun that you have, the serial number that you have, he has a record of when the receiver was done, when which parts and pieces were put on it, which person in the factory put it together, when it became an actual, when they logged it in, it became a gun, so to speak, and then when it was put together, when the upper was put on it, and then when it was test fired and who test fired it, and so it's very traceable as far as if there's a problem customer service wise, man, he knows exactly what it went through and where it went and how it happened. And tell you, they test fire with just Wolf 308 ammo on this one, and man, they run the snot out of it. They put like 10 rounds through it, and then and I mean, I've put a boatload of rounds through this thing, and it just keeps running. So
yeah, that's Frank DeSoma, right?
Yeah. Oh, see, I didn't say that. You did. That was you.
Yep. POF. I know the POF crew. Actually, I was at SEMA show in Vegas one time, and Frank saw me in the show, and he was talking to me. But I never see him at SHOT Show. But he saw me at the thing, and he was like, "Oh, Hank Strange." He was talking to me. Yeah. So
I tell you what, they don't make him any better than Frank. He's a great guy. He's very opinionated, and he'll speak his mind. once you realize that,
gun guy.
Yeah, I love Frank. He's a great guy. He's really super good to me, but he's a great friend to have. Frank's one of those guys. Is like when you're Frank's friend, you got a friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I've got that's a good road trip I think to do to check out POF.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been to Arizona. They're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, they're in like kind of North Phoenix area.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there, but I've never really had the opportunity to check out the factory and stuff like that and see what they do. I know those are really high-end guns.
Yeah, they did a new factory about 2 years ago. They put a new building up, and it's great. It's super efficient, and it's super clean looking. I mean, you wouldn't think it was a machine shop. It's they do a great job, and it's a family-run business, and they put a lot into it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Clover Tax says, I had Frank on my podcast. Yep, agreed. Frank is one great dude. There you go. Yep. Awesome. We got to see if we can get him on the podcast, actually.
You should. I bet he'd be on there for you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we got to try to get him on the show. Those are good. I remember the video that Iraq Veteran did burning down one of their rifles, or trying to burn it down. I think it broke Eric. He finally he gave up on trying to burn that thing down. So that's a pretty good.
Was that one of their piston guns that they did?
I think so.
It was a piston upper and it just wouldn't die.
Yeah, I think that's that was the one where Eric was like, "Forget this."
The barrel started drooping and it was still going, and the piston was still working.
I got no more ammo.
Yeah. That could happen.
But I tell you, this thing, I mean, it was awesome. There was a stage where we started, you shot some shotgun, and then you went up on a platform, and there was 3 torsos at 500 yards, like 491 maybe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the week prior, I had been down to Buck Doyle's class down here in Utah to follow through consulting. He had some long range stuff, so I shot the Revolution at some of those targets, and then I went to a buddy's ranch out here by me and shot some more stuff. So super tuned in, and even after hosing a bunch of paper targets, man, my hold at 500 was dead on where it needed to be. And I think I shot one extra shot on the clock, at the 500-yard target. So when once I shot the first round, then I went 1 for 1 on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made you smile. It was like driving the demon. It was just a happy moment.
Mm-hmm. So here I'm gonna let me share this. I'm going to share this with you guys here. There's some AK news that I found on here.
Uh-oh.
Since we got you AK guys, let me pull up let me put it here in the chat, share it with you, and then I'll share it with the folks out there. Let's see. Put that there. Boom. Okay.
Oh, yeah, AK-12. I wish I could get one.
Yeah, what's the deal? What do you guys say about this? TFB says Russian Special Forces gets their first batch of AK-12s.
Obviously, I can't have one. If the SF are just getting them, it's another 30 years out before I get to see one. Even in the form of a parts kit, it's never going to happen.
So is that the one that the barrel kind of moves, or what is that one?
No, the 12 I think is their super upgraded, or is it? No, I think the 12 is just a really modernized. Yeah, well, that's what the Russians use. It's just the super modernized AK with rails.
Sexy. This is sexy right here.
I think that's the one.
Yeah, that looks good. So how long before we start getting a version of this in America, do you think?
Long time.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, are we still important? We're still important stuff, or are we not?
I don't think we haven't imported Russian stuff since halfway into Obama's term.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not getting any of the good stuff. That's why 5.45 is so damn expensive. Well, that and the ATF decided 7 and 6 was armor piercing.
Yeah.
So that's why 5.45 is damn pricey.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it if I tell you where I get mine.
Got a whole hookup or something?
Right off the boat,
baby. Team Hornady.
Oh,
so wait.
Stuff then.
Yeah, so Hornady has 5.45.
Makes the good stuff.
Oh,
60,
really?
What is it, like 60 grain AMAX?
AMAX, yeah, match. Oh, good, really good ammo.
I shot that at that. What was it? Red October that was here in Utah a couple years ago when I went and shot. Yeah, I shot that stuff. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like shooting it. When I worked at a gun store a while back, I could get it wholesale, which was a lot cheaper, and it was good. It's really good ammo. But now I'm just like, oh god, it's
what are you shooting now, babyface?
What do I have in the safe? I think I have Wolf
sitting in there. I mean, and that's fine if you're shooting into berms and stuff like that. But if you're shooting, steel targets and things, then it, then it tears your steel up shooting that steel. But I told you, man, that's the one my kid grabs. He grabs that 545 of ours. That if I tell him, I hammer on him pretty good when he shoots pistol. Like, dude, stop yanking the trigger. I said, if you keep missing, you're going to start paying for that.
Yeah, exactly.
So he doesn't like shooting pistol very much until I make him, but and then he does fine, right? But if he just grabs one gun that he just wants to shoot, I say, okay, grab whatever else you want to shoot, and you can shoot that, but you got to shoot some pistol too. And he's like, okay, fine, and he'll
545's my jam.
He'll grab that 545, and we set a 10-inch plate out at 100 just for offhand your rifle and stuff, and he just stands and dings that, and he'll try different positions. He'll brace up on the post, and he'll lay down, and he'll go off the table, and he'll do all kinds of stuff, and he wears that steel target out with that with that 545.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a cool round too. I have a bullpup AK-74. I think it's pretty awesome. Okay, it's a Century Arms, but it works. It works great. I don't shoot it that much because of the whole ammo situation. I think I'm down to like one of those big green cans. Remember the big green tin cans? Like
7.6.
The spam can.
Yeah. Lola almost divorced me one day because that can like fell on her foot or something like that.
God, yeah, 1,080 rounds.
Yeah,
pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Was it Russian or Chinese writing on it?
I think it's Russian on it.
Yeah, I think I still have half a case of yellow box Norinco.
Oh man, that's
7.62 by 39.
That's collectors. That's collector's item.
I saw that the other day. I only wish I still had the crate it came in.
Yeah.
Do you have a Norinco?
I have a Mac 90 Norinco.
Good stuff.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it works good. It's I've seen. I was at a place down in Vegas that they do a lot of foreign weapons classes for for special forces and things like that. Foreign weapons armory classes and things like that. I've actually seen a modern, like brand new Norinco with Chinese markings and everything all over it, just because they were able to bring it in for that special foreign weapons class. And it's pretty slick. It was pretty cool. But mine, other than that big ugly thumbhole stock and everything else, man, I really like my Mac 90.
Yeah, those things, they're pretty indestructul. It's one thing the Chinese can get right.
I've killed plenty of bunnies with it. I hit one running away at 100 yards one time.
Damn.
100-ish, and my buddies were like, "You didn't hit that." I said, "Yes, I did." And we went and found it, and it was blown up, But that same trip, I dropped it in the snow by accident, and it just kept running. It wasn't a big deal.
Oh God, yeah, it's not gonna hurt that thing.
Yeah, I see someone was asking about the Lead Star giveaway that we did. You got to get in touch with Lola, so that so we can get those names out to the people. So. Just get in touch, and we'll get that over to them.
I hear good things about those rifles. I had some friends that were running them, in 3-gun and stuff like that, and I heard some good things about them.
About the Lead Star?
The Lead Stars, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. They're lightweight. They make a lot of lightweight stuff. I think it's a good thing. Also, a good thing that PSA is all wrapped up in that now because prices. The prices are pretty decent.
You guys get their emails every day?
PSA?
Every day and 2 and 3 times a day sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of amazed with what they can do. Although, I mean, we've sold them some guns and stuff, and man, they, there's a reason they can sell stuff so inexpensively. They buy a lot of volume, and they do a good job getting it out there, and they have a huge mailing list, so it's a big deal. But yeah, I love seeing that every day. I mean, I don't recall being in the market to buy any of it at this point, but it's always fun to look at and see what they got going on.
Yeah. Well, with certain things that they're putting out, you kind of have to be on the list if you're trying to get one, because they kind of, I don't want to say they build on demand, but they've been on the show here, and the way that they talk about it, they can they're actually tracking everything that's happening, and they can see what's in high demand. And in the middle of the day, let's say, they can go, hey, we're selling a lot of these, and they can actually switch their production around to that, and get those things built and get them out there to folks at a really good price. Versus like what we were talking about, there's a lot of companies out there that say, oh, this thing is cool, and then by the time they start building it, people are off of that and onto something else already.
Yeah.
So I think that's the cool thing about them. They've got lots of different places, facilities, and stuff like that. I'm still working on a video of their facilities here in Jacksonville, Florida, that I went to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be kind of game changer, man. And there's a lot of cool guns that they're putting out. So I'm trying to get. We had Leadstar on, and I'm going to try to get some of the other guys from PSA on here as we move forward. So Kermit Loves Bacon says, I emailed you. Does that count as getting in touch with Lola?
No, Hank doesn't check his email. It doesn't do anything ever.
Yeah.
So you guys want to hear a fun story? I'm going to tell this to the audience. So
wait, is this about me?
I've volunteered to make. We talked to Lola. Hank's patch wall behind him is way too small. It's a goofy, tiny little patch wall. He needs.
Oh yeah, the one you mean the one that Walter made for me?
So I talked to Lola and was like, hey, I need a patch wall too. Let's go ahead and we'll get together and make one. We'll have to borrow the truck because I got a Mustang. I can't go pick up the materials. 4x8 sheet of plywood. I can't fit that in the Mustang. So the other day, Hank borrows the truck, and I'm like, hey, can you do this? And he's just like, do what? What are you talking about? I'm like, I'm building you a patch wall. You need to come pick me up and go to Home Depot. I can't do all this for you without like some help.
Yeah. Well, that's because
I like the patch walls. They're pretty cool. I mean, all my stuff is like in the line, like the headliner of my truck.
Oh,
that's where I got a pile of them there from over the years. But I think I'm liking the whole idea of a wall really to consolidate. I mean, what do you put on there? Is it just like felt or something, or what is it?
Yep, we went and got 5 yards of felt, and that's enough for 2 4x8 sheets of plywood. Staple it up, do it, and hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 4x8 sheets, man. If you're actually organizing them, that's a lot of patches.
I'm doing one for myself. It's awesome.
Yeah, it depends on how big you want to go. Let me see if I can roll in a picture of the one that Walter has.
He's got a huge.
Yeah,
I saw that picture. He was holding that Leadstar gun. You had on your Instagram. You can see that.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to it here. Let's see. For some reason, it didn't go. Oh, my phone is my phone not plugged in? Okay, let's see if I can get the phone plugged in here. Be able to share.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't want to share my phone for some reason. I don't know what that's about.
Walter, what a handsome devil.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, if you guys go to Instagram, it's definitely up there on Instagram. Listen, what we were talking about Hot Wheels before, just as a distraction from Babyface's story, which is not actually true.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of embellishments in that. I had the truck one day. That day, Babyface couldn't do it. The next day, he was trying to get me to do it. And Lola likes the truck for some reason. So I didn't have the truck. That's what happened there. So, yeah. But we'll get it worked out.
Hey,
really, I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, what the hell is Patrick talking about right now?
Yeah. Looking at your Instagram, tell me your thoughts on... Tell me your thoughts on that Ruger 5.7 pistol.
You're looking at my Instagram?
I like it. Hank is in between.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's got an aluminum slide instead of the polymer slide like on the 5.7, like on the FN. And I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. I've only held them. I haven't. The shop, Park City Gun Club up here by me, got one, like a very early one, and it felt good holding it and stuff. Like
it worked.
I would probably, honestly, for the money and everything else, I mean, I'd probably choose that over an FN.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So here's the thing for me. Like I had an FN pistol, and then I sold it. Like I had that in the beginning of doing this. You have to sell guns. Even now, you got to sell guns to get stuff. I like the look and everything of the FN pistol. And in our video that we did for that, we shot both of them, myself and Flying Rich, Richard Hughes. So the thing is, I think for sure the Ruger works well. It's just as light. It's cheaper, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like how the FN feels and looks better than the Ruger, but I think the Ruger is a step in the right direction. I would like to maybe see like a compact version, or then make a carbine or something like that. The reason why I'm in the middle, because right now I wouldn't buy either one of those guns.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing super compelling to me about either one of them just being like 5.7 on its own, you know? I would like to see something else real super sexy. Either make me the Glock carbine that Glock never made in 5.7, or make me like a compact, like, you know, 5.7 pistol I could actually carry on me, like, you know. So I don't know whether or not that's... I think Ruger is more than likely to do it. Mm-hmm.
So tell me this, though. Tell me this. How did it shoot? Like, how was the recoil impulse? Is it still super flat and soft?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I would say that.
I think it shot exactly the same as the FN version. The grip, they narrowed the front of the grip a little bit towards the magazine, so it fits smaller hand. Like, I got pretty small hands, so I thought that fit my hands better than the FN, just because it's a little more narrow.
And that's probably the reason. That's probably, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I think the hand size is probably a big reason, because I noticed this with me and Patrick. He's got small hands. I got big man hands, and I know.
So the FN fits.
Yeah, exactly. So we always have this issue.
I can never get over a polymer slide. That has just always been the one thing that bugs me about the FN. It's just plastic, and it feels like a toy.
Yeah.
Where the
Ruger. I tell you, I mean, as I've felt this thing, I mean, it feels pretty good. And honestly, I think if I was going to do a 5.7, that's the one I'd get. You know.
Yeah. Same.
And somebody like Ruger, who's very. They're kind of flexible as far as, you know, engineering and the resources that they have at hand and the things that they're able to do. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if you saw, you know, other options in that cartridge from them that would be, you know, fun.
That's the thing, I think, because FN's not going to do that.
No. I have noticed that FN's been dropping the price on their 5.7.
They have?
To competitive. Yeah, I saw it for $950 the other day, which is still too much.
But yeah.
Oh. Yeah, they've been.
Yeah, that thing's usually $1,200-$1,300.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I think wholesale is $9.99 or something.
Yeah, so they're bringing it down, but the Ruger still. I've seen the Ruger go for as low as $650, I think.
Yeah, and some people like the Ruger. I see people commenting here. I think FN probably is the company. I think there's other companies that are going to make 5.7s. I think PSA said they were getting into the 5.7 game here at some point. Who else came out with one, Patrick? Does someone else?
There was a company that came out with a 5.7 carbine, and I can't remember the name of it. It was based on the AR platform.
Was it CMMG?
Yeah, AR 5.7.
Yeah. Who?
It was called an AR 5.7. Remember that?
There was that one, but then there was another company that SHOT Show this year made one.
I think that was CMMG. Someone here will tell us.
Yeah, and it doesn't use the top loading mags like the P90. The AR 5.7 uses P90 mags, I think. Yeah. This one uses like regular AR mags. It was a little different.
Yeah, I think if we push this here, the 5.7 is great to do like a carbine or something, right? Because it's a fast-moving, punches through stuff, kind of round. There's potential.
There's little, and there's no, no recoil, and there's no, it's real flat. I mean, like for example, when I was teaching or working up at the Park City Gun Club, they, we would do lessons, or we would do machine gun rentals, or we would do whatever. You get all these people that come in from out of town, they want to rent a machine gun, and we had a P90 there to rent. And I mean, like the smallest person can go in there, it's never shot a machine gun before, and dump a 50-round mag right on the target and never have it move, because it's just that manageable. So, yeah. So I'm seeing like, I don't know how old this is, but there was the Excel Arms that did a 5.7 carbine. I don't know how old that is.
Excel Arms.
Yeah. Excel Arms out of California, whatever. It looks like Masterpiece Arms.
Oh,
Let's see. Oh, here we go. CMMG Banshee.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's
CMMG did
right there. Yeah. Masterpiece. I don't know, man.
I tell you what, they killed it on that long-range rifle stuff, which is funny because it's such a polar opposite for them than with like the the little Mac 11, Mac 10 looking things to go to that precision rifle, and good on them, good for them. People like that gun.
Yeah. I want to, so out of the 5.7, so here's the thing. I don't think the Ruger is bad at all. I think it's cool, and lots of people like it. If you never had an FN pistol, or if you don't compare it, you're probably going to be completely 100% happy with it. But I just want something amazing. I'm sorry. I want that thing to blow my socks off.
Huh? It is really good. I really loved it.
No, but I want a little bit more. Make a bullpup. Make a carbine.
No bullpups. Just stop it. With the
so you've been talking to Manticore Arms. They love bullpups.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Sven. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, Sven. What did they make a bullpup kit of? Was it the
CZ?
Yeah, the Scorpion.
Yeah. They have a Scorpion bullpup kit?
Yes. I haven't. I've seen it. I've never actually used it. So, but
I tell you what, when I was a few years ago, before I came here, I was actually working with Recoil Magazine, and I went and visited Sven and those guys at Manticore, and we're just gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
And at Manticore, and those guys, and I'm impressed, man. Those guys, they love what they do. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, Recoil's cool. Recoil's probably the only cool actual print magazine that's out there. Yeah. But we don't read magazines.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're on the podcast.
No, I'm just. we should try to get someone from Recoil over here.
I don't know, but I know that. Like I said, going to it afforded me, frankly, work. I like those guys. Ian's a very close friend of mine, and they're all friends of mine. I like them a lot. I like being in the manufacturing side of things, but they were really good to me, and I, like I said, I have a lot of really great friends there and stuff.
I mean, Ian's cool, man. Anyone who wins Top Shot is awesome, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well. He's one of the few guys that made it good, in the industry after doing that. A lot of guys tried and have moved on to different things, The guys that stuck around, you got Caleb and you got Chris Chang and you got Sereno, got Chris. Yeah. Chris is a great friend of mine and
Chris
stuff.
Chris is cool.
And,
we did an interview with him at SHOT Show.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, they did a great job. A lot of them did a great job, and then some of the others tried, and they just kind of fell off by the wayside, But then you got somebody like, you got Michelle Viscuzzi who shoots for Glock, and when I first met her, I've told her this. When I first met her, I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, you're a great shooter." Not so much, But she has worked her butt off. She's worked really hard, and she's legit, man. She does well. She shoots well. She's still on Team Glock, and she, she does a good job for what they do. And she's a mom, and she's experienced a lot of growth and everything else. So, everybody from Top Shot, some of them have done really well in the industry, and some of them just moved on to other things. So. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think I did a video with her at SHOT Show at Glock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But one of my friends is Peter Palmer, who was on Top Shot. Remember Peter Palmer?
Yeah. I met Peter once. Yeah. Peter, I met him with Ian at the SHOT Show, and he had his pink T-shirt with kittens and rainbows and
that would be Peter. That would be Peter. Yeah, he probably had flip-flops on or something like that. Or
he did. Yeah. He had shorts and flip-flops. Absolutely. Yeah.
Peter's cool, man.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Hey, I'm all about it, man. People trying to make their way and make things happen, and it works out well. And like I said, I mean, Ian's still probably one of my closest friends, and we talk a lot, and I love going to his house there in Phoenix and stuff. But it's just funny. There's so many different paths people have taken in the firearms industry. But like I said, being at Recoil allowed me to visit a lot more folks. Like I said, I've been to Manticore Arms. I've been in their shop with Sven and everybody and got to see what they do. And I love that. I love being able to see how people make the magic happen.
Yeah.
It's all kind of the same, and then it's always a little different too, So
that's the exciting thing I think about this. I'm not like Patrick is more into building things or whatever. I'm more into dreaming about it, and I want to see the fantastic and the fantastical in the future. Damn it, I want to see the future.
Well, I like certain disruptive products, and I think that the Ruger 5.7 is a bit disruptive to a certain company, who thought that, the 5.7 was like made of gold, even though it's hit the end of its life cycle.
Usually Ruger's business plan is let's let someone else design it and then steal the design, change it 8%, and then modify.
Well,
that's what they did with the P3AT, and that became the the 380.
Yeah.
What's the name of the 380 Ruger? The LCP, I think.
Yeah.
Ruger LCP. But here's the thing over Keltec. We all know. I'm not trying to knock Ruger here, but let's talk the truth. They straight up jacked Keltec on that LCP.
Yeah, it's a Keltec design.
Well, the patent expired or something?
No,
I think so.
No, it wasn't that.
Or did they make enough change?
Yeah, in the gun world, you if you change 8%, if you do more than an 8% change, the other company can't do anything about it. Yeah, you're good to go. So, and here's the thing that they did that I think that was interesting. Ruger came out with the LCP2. Keltec never improved that P3AT. Never.
Well, I tell you, I have a P3AT sitting downstairs, and I mean, for what it is, it's a great little gun.
Yeah, it's a little pocket pistol. I have one.
I'm kind of impressed with Keltec and some of their innovation and some of the things they've tried to accomplish and have accomplished in some of their bullpup rifles. Sorry, Patrick.
Yes, they make awesome bullpup rifles. Patrick's owned one before.
And
I like my 308.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I've shot with their guys at 3-gun matches, and they're great guys, and they're good to talk to, and I mean, I have Derek Kellgren, at one point a few years ago sent me one of the PMR 30s, and that type of thing, and I mean, I thought that PMR 30 was a great idea.
Pretty cool.
Just
I got two of those.
So cool. Yeah. I mean, throw it. What better way to throw it in a backpack if you're out hiking? Like around here, we'll take a week-long hike up in the mountains, and I mean, what a great gun to have in your backpack, because you got, with a 22 mag, you got a lot of firepower in 2 magazines, and it's real lightweight.
Yeah.
So
Keltec, I think
everybody has their thing.
Yeah, Keltec, I think, and so I'm in Florida, and I knew the Keltec guys pretty well until I said something about one of their guns that they didn't really like. Yeah, but we're cordial. We're cordial now. We're cordial. It's okay now. Keltec is kind of like a cult. If you say anything wrong about, if you criticize any of their things that they make, they're kind of cultish in their reaction to it. But I think George Kellgren, I put him way above Kalashnikov, who basically stole the AK design from someone and pretended he did that. George Kellgren is a genius. He's like right now a living gun genius, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think he really gets the credit for that. I think Keltec is an amazing company. Keltec has no freaking debt. Okay, they've grown. They make a lot of really cool things. Sometimes because you can't say stuff to them, there's things like what happened with Ruger happen. They don't necessarily listen to that criticism. Some other companies look at their stuff and go, we're gonna take that, modify it, and reverse engineer it and kill it actually, and sell stuff there. But there's an incredible amount of potential there, and there's not really a lot I can knock about Keltec, except for the fact that, they get a little bit, they act like a cult. They act like the doomsday cult sometimes if you say something bad about them.
And they don't produce enough of the cool stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that sometimes when stuff is popular, it doesn't seem like a lot of it gets out. But I can tell you from a manufacturing standpoint, I guarantee you they're busting their butt to make sure they get the right product out and everything else.
They make a lot of stuff. And right now it's actually trending. I don't know why. I was looking at my videos. I have close to 1,000 videos on YouTube, but years ago I made the first factory tour of Keltec. Right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that video is still there. It's about an hour, if it's not over an hour. It's trending for some reason right now. But yeah, those guys are truly manufacturing stuff and manufacturing a lot of guns. It's a false thing happening in the market with the distributors because they have a distribution only model that the distributors get those cool guns from them and then hoard them and tell gun stores, we'll only allocate 1 or 2 of these to you if you buy 20 of these other crap guns that nobody else wants.
Yeah, some of the distributors I've seen do stuff like that in the past. But I tell you what, you got that right behind you. Is that star patch? Is that a dead air patch?
Is that behind me or?
Yeah, behind me.
Yeah, behind me. Yes, let's see here. I think so. Yes, it is.
Is that a dead air patch? So it's funny because Pappas. Have you had Pappas on here?
No.
don't think he has.
No, we would love to get him if we could.
Oh, he'd probably jump on with you. He lives up the road here, but
cool.
my point being, Pappas loves like Tech 9s.
Oh, those are awesome.
Really?
Yeah, Tech 9s are awesome.
Like the original, like the original Kel-Tec,
Yeah.
He loves those things. If you grab those, he'll buy those every chance he gets.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you tell him if he has one that he doesn't want, I would like to buy it? Because I want a Tech 9 in my collection.
Oh, he'll have multiples of it, I'm sure. But it's kind of a funny thing. It's just like, this is great. And Mike's, he's a character anyway.
Tech 9s are awesome, and Kellgren, of course, designed that.
Did he actually design the Tech 9, the original?
I think he worked with the company before they went out of business, right, Scott?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I know he had something to do with it. Honestly, I don't know the whole backstory on that, but I know that we've discussed it in the past. Mike and I have discussed it.
Yeah. George Kellgren is amazing. To me, I really think that guy's an amazing, probably like Browning, Kellgren, I put those guys.
Yeah, it's funny how you get those minds that do that and the manufacturing experience and everything else. I mean, like our owner, Joe, his big thing is he loves refining and manufacturing. I mean, he's come up with some things in the past that have been, really crazy in the medical field and everything else. And so it's pretty fun. Like when I was in the shop a couple weeks ago, I'd love to see how he wants to refine manufacturing processes and all kinds of stuff. And so, he's done things that are like fancy enough or complicated enough that he comes back to a gun and it's like, wow, look at that, that's easy, let's do this and make it better and that type of thing. And all these guys with that mindset, George and Joe, and I don't know that I want to, I don't know if it's worth mentioning Browning, but I mean in his time Browning was the same way, just how do we make this better, how do we manufacture it better. And there's so many guys across the board in the firearms industry who've been able to do that. I wish I could think like that.
Yeah. Browning. I mean, safely, Browning was a genius. I know it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But we don't get too many.
But
I
mean,
those.
Just that mindset is amazing to me. Of these guys that can come up with these ideas and put them down and plan them out and then put it into the manufacturing processes, and then here it is. Here you go. It's kind of like, well, anybody that comes out with the new models, anytime you're out there doing R&D and coming up with new models and things like that, I mean, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. And how it happens, and we're so fortunate anymore. I did a tour of Smith years ago, and there was some remnant guys that had been there for decades, and they had these big, huge hands, and everything was hand assembled when they started, and they've been assembling these guns for years. And then all the CNC machines came in, and one side plate on a revolver is just like the next one and the next one and the next one. But they make sure they fit, and they hand fit them and things like that. But then once the CNC started, in theory, you shouldn't have to take the time to hand fit everything and stuff. So that's why, for example, some of those guys or some of those older Smith revolvers are more sought after than some of the newer ones, type of thing. But the newer ones are still awesome, right? So, I love seeing that.
I think people appreciate those older ones because it was like handcrafted, and honed by a human being. I think people appreciate those things. And so, nowadays we're getting better prices, but then that's why guys like Patrick go out there, you get those things and then you hone them down, right?
Yeah.
Make them better.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you really want to go there. So the owner, Joe, he's a New Yorker, right?
Yeah, he's from New York originally, but he's lived all over the country doing his projects and his things. He's down there in Florida now, and the facility in Daytona has been there for quite a while. I think 2004 or 2003, producing the Sky pistols. So
yeah, we're always fans of anyone that makes guns in Florida. Yeah. As long as they're fans of us. It's
a big deal. You guys, they make a lot of guns down there.
Yeah. More guns in Florida. We just need to pay attention to the laws, things that are happening here. There was an article I was going to talk about. I think I sent it to you guys in the beginning from Ammo Land. Basically, it says, Florida alert. Dozens of gun control bills died in Florida this session. It was another very tough legislative session in Florida this year. Anti-gun Democrats were emboldened by Michael Bloomberg's money. His money has been strategically placed to help pass another major gun control bill. Democrats filed so many gun ban, gun control, ammo, and magazine ban bills this year that one had to wonder if they were filing the worst bills they could think of in order to attract some of Bloomberg's money for themselves. And it just goes on and lists all these different things and tells you how they died in committee, etc. I think that we're still in danger of some stuff actually making its way out there. But the reason why I talk about this, I want to see Florida stay the gunshine state, and that we're manufacturing things here. And man, I know, like, there's a manufacturer in Connecticut that I went to visit, and they were making an AR, and it was kind of like, it was sad and weird that I was talking to the people making the AR. If you're an AR guy, you look at an AR, you start pulling charging handle, pulling the trigger and stuff, and the trigger was all crunchy and the charging handle was crunchy. And I was like, what's up with this? Do you even like ARs? And the guy was like, no, I'm an AK guy. And I was asking all these questions, and they were like, well, we can't even buy these here. Right? So they were trying to make something that they can't even buy. And I thought to myself, this is so sad. I want these things to be made by people who are into these things, who can own them, and then they put love, like we were just talking about, into what they do. And I would hate to see that happen in Florida, that we're making things here that we can't even buy or own.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I've seen along those lines, like you're talking about, I've seen many places where they might as well be making a widget, of any kind. It's kind of like some of the sales folks. There's gun folks, and then there's just sales folks. And one of my distributors, who's a great guy, that they're actually, he just decided they're just kind of going to shut down their distribution company, and they're going to, he actually closed on his boat. And once this all COVID stuff goes away, he's going to go down to Florida and hang out on his boat. But he was saying they used to have sales folks that are, and the joke was, when I went there and shot with him one time, I went to meet him for the first time, and he was at this Boy Scout fundraiser. And I walked up to this fundraiser out at this Sporting Clays facility, and he goes, "Hey, you're shooting on our team." And I went, okay. And so I went and shot on the team, and a little ways into it, he turned to his buddy. He's like, "Yeah, he's no fish. What did he say? He's no fishing lure salesman." And I kind of, excuse me, what is that? He says, "Well, that's the joke we have. We had this fishing lure. We had this salesman one time that would come into town, wouldn't come see us, and he'd come into town. He'd be sitting for 3 hours at the airport waiting to get out of town, and he wouldn't come visit us. And then when he did, he just wanted to sell him fishing lures or whatever. And my point being, he's like, oh, you're a gun guy. You know what? You like to shoot. You understand how to do it. You know how to do it. And that type of thing. And that was." I found that to be kind of a compliment, but you don't see that all the time. People, a lot of executives in a lot of companies are just there as executives, and they know their stuff, but they know business, and they don't necessarily know how to shoot, or
they'll be happy to sell any other thing.
They don't partake of it. They don't go out and partake of the fun in shooting and things. Some of them do, and it's cool, and you got to give them credit when they do. And there used to be an event years ago where all the companies would get together, and there was Sporting Clays, and there was some other stuff, and everybody would send guns for everybody to use, and it was a pretty neat thing. I think FMG Publications put it together. It was called the Shooting Industry Masters, and everybody would go, but they made a point of not posting the scores for everybody to see. You could get your team scores, and they announced the top 3 teams, but then they made a point of doing that so it wouldn't embarrass all these, executive level guys that couldn't necessarily shoot. Yeah.
That's the tough thing. I think we see that in the firearms industry, that there's like some people who inherited companies or whatever it is, and they don't really feel the passion the way that we do, and eventually that gets reflected in what they do, the things they say, and whether or not they stay in business even, right? You kind of have to have passion to keep all this kind of stuff going, especially when the whole world is typically against it.
Well, think about politically in the last probably election or two, where we've had people come out to, firearms industry people that would come out and support politicians who are clearly anti-gun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, how do you do that? Like,
No, because you're not in the game.
Yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's like years ago when the Dixie Chicks badmouthed,
The anti war effort or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
badmouthed Bush, but it's
Yeah.
like their country music,
Yeah.
performers.
They said
I mean,
I think they said that they don't feel welcome in the country music.
Wonder why?
Yeah.
here's the deal. Like, I don't think they should have received death threats, and I don't think it should have been as crazy as it was by any means. You know, you're allowed to have your own opinion, but you also need to know who your audience is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. You know, that's really, 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 really important. Okay, we're about to. I want to show this off to you guys since I have you. We were talking about Hot Wheels. I want to show you guys some special Hot Wheels that I have.
Oh God.
Check that out. Who recognizes that?
That was
one?
pretty cool.
Yeah. Ecto.
That's all right.
Yeah, right there, the Ecto one. That's out in Hot Wheels if you can get your hands on it. And you might recognize this one here. This is actually able to, if you want to travel if you want to go back in time, you might want to get your hands on that right there.
There you go.
There you go. I thought I'll share that with you guys. So, I'm doing a lot of the car stuff and things like that on Stranger Palooza, which is a separate channel. If you guys want to see that, I might start showing some of my Hot Wheels on there. You know.
Didn't you post most of your SEMA stuff on there?
Yep. That's where all the SEMA stuff is going to go. I'm going to put the car stuff on there. I'll put some watch stuff on there. I'm into watches. So is Babyface. Throw up the tech stuff and things like that. But mostly car-related things will go there. One of these days, I'll do some driving video games. I'll let people compete against me. See how that is. First, I have to learn how to drive on a virtual track. We'll make that happen. All right, so listen, we're at 9 o'clock. Let's wrap this up here. Patrick, do you want to tell the people how they can keep in touch with you? What's the latest videos that are coming out on Babyface P?
Lots and lots of content coming out on BFP right now. Let's see. I just posted up. I think next week we have the last of the build series for the M16 parts kit. Mm-hmm. We got some pretty cool stuff coming along.
I saw your video. You have a video putting front sight post on a barrel. I saw that.
Yep. That was what went up this week.
Yeah, you were humble bragging about having a lathe. I thought that was. I liked how you did that.
Oh well, yeah. Because there are other ways to do stuff like that, but it's like I got a lathe. I'm going to use a lathe. Sorry.
Yeah, that was.
Because cool. a lot of people complain. They're like, "Well, I don't have a lathe. How do I do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. I got a lathe. Sorry."
That's a little cruel, man. You know how to do it. You could show them how to do it without a lathe. Huh?
Not without a lathe. Not easily.
No, not easily.
Hey, I had a friend did some work on a gun for me. I was changing something out, putting a free float handguard on something with a post, and it was Mike Voigt. He had a freaking Bridgeport in his garage.
Oh, I want a Bridgeport so bad.
It was awesome.
I have a cheap Chinese mill at the moment. I want a Bridgeport.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Yeah, Babyface.
Well, anyways, Babyface P.
Yeah, Babyface P. That's how you get all that cool stuff. All right, so Scott, tell us how can the folks follow Sky? Where can they go? What if they want to communicate with you, ask you questions and stuff like that later?
Well, if you go on, you can go on our website, sky.com, and then we got an Instagram page and Facebook page and stuff. Just go on there and follow us, and we've got. Our girl Megan she's in charge of that. She does a great job. She'll answer any questions. If there's more questions, just let her know that you want to get a hold of me, and she'll figure it out. She'll let you know, and then just keep looking for Sky. We're selling a bunch of guns. We're shipping a bunch of guns. We're building a ton of guns. And I would just admonish folks, the guys out there that are saying, why could we do this or why would we do that when we could do the SIG or the Glock or any of those type of things. Just take a look, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. But man, a lot of people have seen them and like them, and I've got one industry buddy I think we talked about the last time I was on, where he said he's got one in every room of his house. including the bathroom, in a Tupperware in the toilet tank, which
it was
good. It was a little much, but okay.
No, excellent.
Impressive. Yeah, that's some impressive gun hoarding right there.
Yeah. Right. You can get
excellent
you can
form.
Get 3 of these. If you find them for the right price, you get them the right place. You can get 3 of these guns for what one of the other guns costs you, and you can put one in every room of your house or in every vehicle or whatever, and or in your tackle box or any number of places.
Yeah.
But I would ask that people just give them a fair shot, take a look. I think you'd be impressed with the quality. And we've got that DVG, the striker gun, coming out soon. We've got other new products in the works that'll be kind of a cool thing that I think you guys will really like. And I'm sure we'll come back on and talk about them. But Sky Firearms, like I said, I've been carrying one since they sent me one when they offered me the position, and I don't hesitate to do it. So
yeah.
Take a look, check them out. We offer a lot of colors in some of the models, and it might be for you, it might not be, but there's a lot of options, and we feel real good about our quality, and we've got a great team in our shop, and Joe does a great job. It's probably one of my favorite jobs I've had, honestly, in the industry, and I love being here, and we offer a lot of options. Take a look. Check it out.
Absolutely. Yes. And we will have, I know some people are asking, we'll have Scott back on here. We'll probably do some kind of giveaway or something like that with Sky coming up here.
We'll work that out with Lola.
Yeah, we'll get that worked out. And, I want to thank you also for coming on, Scott, as well as Patrick for taking the time and coming on. Shout out to Harry's Holsters. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on here. Everyone stand by there. Make sure you go to Hank Strange. Remember, that's how you get on the email list. And, if we're going to give away the Sky, you're going to have to be on the email list there. Let me drop the end for everyone. All right, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live if YouTube hasn't totally disconnected that. Thanks for everyone for joining us. We are out of here. We will see you tomorrow. Peace. We're out.
Leave with jazz hands? Do we leave with jazz hands?
We could do it. We can leave with the jazz hands. We're out of here. Peace.